Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 33 of Daisy Knits. I'm Daisy. We're hanging upstairs in the floor of my neighbor room with the shop hanging out behind me. So, if you're a new viewer, welcome. I'm so glad you came to visit and sit and chat with me. If you're a returning viewer, my goodness, thank you for coming back and hanging out. So, I have a few things to show, nothing too exciting, but I got a few things here and there. So we'll start this party off, shall we? The first thing I have to show you is kind of boring, honestly, to look at right now. So I have this Cascade 220. It's a super dark navy blue. And what you're seeing is a garter stitch bottom. It looks like a bowl right now. In my brain, I have a monster creation pattern that I want to knit, and I've wanted to knit this for probably a year now because it's rolling around in my brain and it kind of itches a little, so I need to get it out. So that's what this is. I'm thinking I have probably, I don't know, maybe another couple of inches to go, like yay-ish on his body. And then I'm going to do some decreases in a head, and there's going to be arms and legs, stuff like that. But it's not very exciting right now. Like I said, I know this is not the exciting part by any means. Maybe by next week I'll have some more progress. I got some things going on this weekend. Next week, we'll see. But that's what this is. Like I said, not incredibly exciting, but it's taken me a bit. Dark yarn. It's kind of a pain in the butt. It's just not exciting. I want some fun, which is part of the other project I have over here. So hopefully you'll see more of that next week. More development, shall we say. And that's traveling around in one of my Rainstorm Studio bags because honestly, I love this bag. It's like huge, perfect, wonderful. Anyways, the other thing that's traveling around with me right now is a giant whoopsie and a half. Let's just be honest. It's been a whoopsie and a half. So my son has been begging for another pair of socks for a bit. Like, begging for socks. The boy loves him some socks. And so when I talked with him about it, he asked for a real heel because I tend to do tube socks for them. I do long tube socks. And then as they grow, the heel doesn't wear out because there's no heel. It wears fairly even. They don't get big holes in the heel. My daughter blows heels like crazy. And also, they fit longer because you do long tube socks and they start at the knee, and then as they grow, they kind of, work their way down the leg. And it's not quite so devastating that you've spent, a week knitting them socks and they can't wear them or they've blown out a heel. My daughter can blow out a heel in under a month. Just the girl can. She loves her socks, but she can blow out a heel in no time flat. My son, his foot just goes from no growth to 4 inches, it seems like. So, we're kind of in that whole 4-inch moment, I think, right now. Anyways, long story short, I'll stop rambling and I'll tell you about the sock. When I talked with him about what he wanted, he said he didn't want ribbing. He wanted a shorty sock, kind of folded over, is what he said. He wanted a rolled brim sock. So I cast these on and I worked until I finished this blue and white striped section, and then I did my German short row heel. And I should probably check and make sure these fit him. So I took it off the needles and I had him try it on, and it didn't fit. He could not get he could not get them put on at all. I had cast on 52 stitches. Yes. I cast on 52 stitches. I'm like, 52 stitches. Yeah, that should be good. And it is good for his ankle. But for his heel, where his heel is, it does not fit. So I'm like, fine. So I frogged out that heel. Started in this little bitty white section, and I went up 8 stitches. So I have now 60 stitches on. I did another stripe, and I was like, okay, we should be good, right? 60 stitches for a kid's sock should be good. So I did another German short row heel, in garter because I'm like, garter's got extra stretch. It'll help. I worked it out this morning, pulled him off the needles, and I said, okay, bub, try these ones on now. He can barely get it on. He can get it on, which is at least a little bit better than what we were. It gets over the heel, but it is super tight across the top of his foot in the instep. So, guess what I get to do this afternoon? I guess I'm just going to frog these again, go back to this heel, and I'm going to do a real heel flap and gusset. It's going to mess with the stripes. I hate doing that with self-striping yarn, but it's kind of one of those things. Not have my stripes continuous or have it where the poor child can't even wear them. It seems unfair to make him a pair of socks that he can't wear. So, back to the frog pond. These are going to go. And I think I'm only going to frog to here and then immediately start that. So, at least I'm not going to refrog the whole thing. Not doing that. Just this little section, which I've spent, I think, last night and today working on. So, he apologized for having a big foot. He actually gave me a hug and he said, I'm sorry, Mommy. I don't mean to have a big foot. Which, I know he doesn't. I'm totally going to blame his dad for that part. I'm going to blame his dad. And then go back to knitting again. So, that's my knitting attacks. That's my sidetrack in life. But those are the two things I've been working on. I think I spun twice this past week. That's it. I keep saying I'm going to get back to my wheel, and I sit down a little bit here and there, but I don't sit down for very long, is my problem. The other thing, though, is I did master knitter work this week. And it's not really exciting for y'all, so I'll tell you up front, it's not that exciting. I didn't do any swatches. The wristlet still needs to be redone because I don't have one that I'm thrilled with yet. But I said I'm going to put a pin in it. I'm going to walk away for a bit. And this past week, I spent the week doing research. So we have questions. I think I have 19 questions I have to answer for this level. And when you answer them, you have to have 2 sources for everything you answer. So like one of the questions is, if your gauge, if you're supposed to have like 5 stitches per inch and you're getting 4 stitches, how do you compensate? What do you do with your needle size? Well, I know I'm supposed to go up a needle size because then I'll get more stitches. But I need 2 references that will back that up. So this past week I've been going through, I'll pull one book and I go through all of my questions and I write answers. I have a spiral bound notebook that I'm writing all my answers in. And I'm writing all my references down. So that way I can say this reference says this and this reference says that. So that's what I've been doing. I go all the way through one book and then I put it down and I get another one of my books. And I'll go through that. And, you know, my Knitting for Dummies, the principles of knitting. I have a Vogue knitting book. It's a red book. Y'all can see the red book, right? I can see it in my brain. Is it the Reader's Digest? Stanley is the last name on that book. I can see that. So I go through them though, and I just write my references. The other thing I've been doing this week, and it's super exciting, I've been researching buttonholes. I think I have 4 swatches that I have to do buttonholes on. And so I'm going to start those this week. I'm going to do buttonhole swatches this week. It's very exciting. Buttonholes. Can you feel it? Anyways, that's where my master knitter is sitting. So I have master knitter work in progress, and hopefully next week I'll have some swatches to show you. So the last thing I have is to tell you about the shop a little bit. July 9th and 10th, the shop and I will be at Lebanon, Missouri. That is an event down there that's free to the public to come on in and walk around. It's called Fiber U. I'll throw a link in. Also, you can link from the website to their site. And that event is all about education. There is a small vendor market, but it's all about education. So if you are looking to take classes, and not just knitting classes, there's spinning, there's weaving. I think the fisherman guy is back again, and he does fly tie fly fishing lures. That's what it is. I'm not a fisherman. But you learn how to make those using natural fibers. So if that's something you're interested in, you might check it out. I believe the registration fee is like $35 and you take up to 6 classes. That doesn't include your material fee, just your registration fee. But it's a heck of a deal. If you're looking at classes, this is one way to go to get a really good class, to get education in about expanding your skills. And they're all done by ordinary people. I'm doing a knit fix class. So, just people who are learning and sharing a little bit about what we know. So, that's coming up. If you're in the area, come see me. Otherwise, I'll see you next week because that's all I got to share. So, I hope you have a great week. Happy knitting, and I'll see ya.